Look, I'm going to tell you something I've never told a single soul. Not my mother, not my best friend, and definitely not my husband. My name is Sarah, and I am a liar. It's not just a little white lie, it's the entire foundation of my life. For 8 years, I have lived the perfect lie. I am the loving wife, the grateful daughter, the woman everyone congratulates on having it all. Those wedding photos above the mantelpiece, they are a monument to the lie. Everyone comments on them, right? A perfect match, they say. Look how happy you both look, Sarah. And I just smile. What else can I do? They see the successful man, the beautiful house. They see a life I am supposed to be grateful for. But here's the truth that hangs heavier than any frame. I don't love my husband. I walked down that aisle, and my heart was a mausoleum, quiet, cold. I didn't marry for love. I married for duty, for security. My parents were drowning in debt. David, the successful architect, was a lifeline. I saw the pure relief on my father's face when I said yes. And in that moment, my own silly 22-year-old hopes were just collateral damage. My life with David is, on paper, perfect. He is patient, predictable, incapable of small cruelty. If I mention a goal, he quietly researches how to help me achieve it. He even remembers the little things. If he were a bad man, if he were selfish or cold, this would be easy. I could be a martyr. But his kindness, that's the real torture. Every thoughtful gesture is a hammer blow against my guilt. I watch him across the dinner table, his brow furrowed in concentration over a sketch, and I feel this consuming shame. He is giving me his entire, honest life, and I am giving him a performance. I used to search his face, desperately, looking for a flaw, anything to justify the cold space in my own heart. I found nothing. We have a warm, respectful intimacy, but it's like listening to a song with the volume turned too low. I kept waiting for the deep, passionate spark. It never came. My soul feels muted, always straining for a note that I know deep down will never sound. My routine was solid until our 5-year anniversary party. It was a big, fancy event, the ultimate symbol of the perfect lie. And guess who walked in? Ethan, the man who represented everything I gave up. The freedom, the chaos, the fire. He was there as a photographer. Our exchange was brief, but it knocked the air right out of me. He found me alone on the balcony. "You look like you belong in a magazine spread, Sarah," he said, his voice instantly familiar. "But you also look a little trapped." That word, trapped, it hit me. We started meeting for coffee, to catch up. I know what you're thinking, but they were innocent. They were just conversations. But in those moments, the facade would crack. We talked about books, travel, and dreams, the things David and I never touch. During one afternoon, we laughed so hard over a college memory that tears came to my eyes. I caught my reflection in the glass and saw a woman I hadn't been in years, a woman alive. The spontaneous, vibrant Sarah I thought I had buried was right there. Then came the question. Ethan looked right into my eyes. "Sarah, are you happy? Really, truly happy?" I froze. The truth was right there. I could have shattered everything. But the image of David's trusting face, our solid house, It stopped me. I forced the practiced smile. Of course, Ethan. I have everything I need. But as I walked away, I felt the desperate magnetic pull of the life I had chosen to deny myself. I knew I had to stop seeing Ethan. I was too close to ruining David's life. But the universe decided to handle the intervention itself. A siren's scream, an emergency room, the smell of fear. David was in a complicated car accident. A drunk driver hit him in a storm. I rushed to the hospital. For the first time, my terror wasn't about money. It was the raw, instinctual fear of losing my quiet anchor. I sat by his bedside, the pretense gone. Only panic remained. The doctor finally came to me. Mrs. Hayes, David is awake, but his recovery will be long. He's worried about you. He told me to tell you to use the emergency savings account if you need to, but to please not stress about his recovery. The doctor then handed me a small, crumpled piece of paper David kept in his wallet. It wasn't insurance details. It was a note, dated a month before our wedding. It was a to-do list. Finish office plans. Book honeymoon. Learn how to make Sarah's favorite coffee. Must remember to tell her every day how beautiful she is. I stared at the list, feeling the familiar guilt. But then, the doctor added the detail that didn't just break me, it obliterated me. He said he was on the North Road when it happened. He took a 2-hour detour in that massive storm last night. He was trying to pick up a rare, discontinued edition of that poetry book you mentioned wanting once, 3 years ago. He was so excited to surprise you. 2 hours, in a massive storm, for a book I barely remembered. This wasn't duty. This was pure, silent, self-sacrificing dedication I hadn't earned. He had risked his life for a fleeting whim of mine. I sat there, holding that crumpled list. David's sheer goodness was a weight I couldn't bear. If I left him now, after that sacrifice, I wouldn't be gaining freedom. I would be committing an act of total emotional cruelty against the purest heart I had ever known. I pulled out my phone. I knew what I had to do. I called Ethan. I can't do this anymore, Ethan. Goodbye. He tried to argue. Sarah, you're making a mistake. It's not too late to choose happiness. I can't, I whispered. He gave me a life. He almost died trying to give me a silly book. I owe him my devotion. I have to be the woman he thinks I am. I hung up, cutting off the last sliver of my romantic dream. David was finally awake. I leaned in close, my voice thick with an emotion that was not passion, but something deeper and more painful. Guilt elevated to self-sacrifice. Did you worry? I'm sorry, he whispered. No, David, I lied, gripping his hand. I didn't worry. I knew you'd be fine. I love you. The light that flooded his eyes, the profound relief and peace, was the most beautiful, heartbreaking thing I had ever seen. In that moment, the lie became a truth of a different kind. A vow of lifelong service and emotional protection. Years have passed since then. David healed. I am the perfect wife, but the weight remains. I look at those wedding photos now, and I truly smile. But it's a smile of acceptance, not joy. I realized my sacrifice is my love story, a cold, enduring commitment to the happiness of another. I spent my life guarding the integrity of a good man. I often wonder if David ever knew, if he ever looked into my eyes and saw the sadness I buried for him. But I keep the silence, because that silent sacrifice is the only honest thing I have ever given him. My life is not a passionate romance. It is an enduring, cold devotion. And that, my listeners, is the secret I carry. That is the story of the day I truly fell in love with the man I didn't marry, the one I found in the hospital bed.